Hello and welcome. I am the Love Lady, and today we're going to talk about rage. So, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on in the world. There is probably a lot going on in your life. We are in a fiery year, and if you're anything like me and you're paying attention to the ebb and flow of justice and how people are being treated in the collective, this can be a rather challenging time to figure out how to navigate these feelings of powerlessness, where we feel like we're not having an impact, where we're not able to take the kind of actions in the world to bring a greater actual justice or freedom or liberty for other people. Anyway, whatever your take is on whatever it is that you care about in your life, but also in the world, in the lives of other people, in the lives of the rest of humanity, there will come a point where, well, you may be navigating between like despair and rage, right? Where despair is that kind of powerless heaviness that then when there's some sparkle, when it just gets to a point where it is just too much and it turns into anger, or it turns into like a bigger fire, this feeling of rage. And rage, not as much as an idea as a physical embodiment of that shift from despair to sudden demand to take action. And that can feel like anxiety. That can feel like lightning, like a storm, like an internal electrical storm. One of my favorite, just obvious natural metaphors is Pele or a volcano, right? Like a volcano isn't having an emotional experience necessarily, but it is such a beautiful, like living, vivid example of how rage feels for us, how that it will stay dormant, right? It'll look just like a beautiful mountain until it doesn't. And then up wells fire, fire in the form of liquid. I mean, how profound is, right? And that is how rage feels within us. I mean, it is literally like lava, like our blood turns to lava. Like there is just fire everywhere. And I don't know what your experience of this is like, but my experience of this is that it's quite overwhelming. It's also quite animating. And it is impossible to be in an experience of rage and not need to do something with it, right? Especially if it's been brewing for a while, right? In the same way that like when there's a tectonic shift that leads to a volcano erupting, there's, if it hasn't erupted in a while, there's a backlog, right? And so the eruptions are intense, and lava can shoot up into the sky thousands of feet, thousands of meters, and go on for long periods of time, and it's super destructive. And pyroclastic volcanoes, which don't erupt with lava, but with just these noxious explosive gases, are like a bomb. I mean, they're incredible, right? So the question is, where's the love in all that rage? And what does love even have to do with that experience, right? Because they can seem quite incompatible. And so the love is that which we want to see addressed. So if our rage is about an injustice that's either been done to us or being done on a more community or global stage, the love is, what do we want to have be changed? What do we want to change ourselves? What do we want to engage in community with to create a change? What is it? What is at the end of the tunnel, right? What is the result that we would love to see in the world? So, step one of using love as the medicine, as the dose, as the balm, as the treatment, as the salve, as the solution for what to do with that rage as it moves through, is to take charge of the situation of the rage within yourself. So you have control over you. You have control over your agency, your ability to choose where you point your attention, where you give your time, your energy, your money, your focus, and your love. And this is so critically important because one of the things that I continue to see people do in their individual lives, but also in the collective stages, is point their attention towards that which they don't want. And this is so subtle, and it's so easy to fall into focusing on that which we don't want. But one of the things that you can do to address this is say, do I love this? Whatever the language is, whatever the focus is, do I love it? So if what we're trying to do is have, like in the subject of, let's say, cancer, and we're having marches and fundraisers against cancer, do we love cancer? No, of course we say no, we're against cancer. But when we are demonstrating, marching, and putting our focus on cancer, it's the equivalent. Our attention field, our bodies and our minds do not know the difference between what's a yes and what's a no if the focus is cancer. If it is, do I love being against cancer? Do I love cancer? The mind doesn't know the difference. The body doesn't know the difference. Our energy field doesn't know the difference because our focus is on the cancer. And it's so subtle, right? This is so subtle, but what we actually love is not being for or against cancer. What we actually love is healthy, healed bodies. What we actually love is healthy, balanced physical bodies and people and systems and body, minds, and spirits. That's what we love. We love perfect health. Subtle, right? But hugely important, right? When we turn our attention to, let's say, looking at a physical body, and we look at that physical body and we say, we love all of the healthy, vibrant energy flowing through this body. We love that. As opposed to focusing on, we love the death to the cells of the cancer. No, right? Like, we can't even envision what we're against. We can't look at a body and say, okay, I'm looking at this body and now I'm against this disease thing. And I'm envisioning the death to the disease. Also, it's a lot of work. That's a lot of mental gymnastics that is not required when what we're really after is ease, flow, health. And so, if what we're after within ourselves and on the collective stage is justice, then our focus is on justice, or the outcome of justice. What looks like ourselves and others being treated with dignity, respect, freedom, liberty, the ability to choose, the ability to participate, abundance, flow, honor, right? All of those things that we're after. And so as you are engaging then with whatever your priorities are, with whatever you decide to point your agency, your attention, your focus to, are you in community with yourself and all the aspects of yourself and your mind? Is your mind and your body and your spirit, is everything pointed toward that which you want? And then are those the conversations you're having with the other people who you're in community with? So as you go into community to give your attention, time, energy, and focus to that which you care about, and whether that is having tea with your friends, or whether that is demonstrating in some way or taking some practical action in some way in your small or large community, the question becomes, are those conversations, is that energy pointed toward that which you want? So if you're carrying a sign, does the sign say justice, freedom, liberty, health, happiness, joy, abundance, or something similar? Or does it instead say that which you do not want? So important, right? That where attention goes, energy flows, right? And this is a maxim from across spiritual teachers of all times, but really, it is astonishing to me how frequently I see us as a society continuing to make this same error. Now, this applies to whatever you believe, right? About yourself as well. So if you've got a negative, chirpy voice in your head, reminding you what's wrong, reminding you what you're doing wrong, reminding you what to avoid, important to acknowledge that you do. Okay, I got it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for trying to keep me safe, voice. And what I'm going to listen to is the voice that says, you're doing everything right. You're doing everything you can in this moment to create and amplify all of the aspects of your life that you love, that you want more of. And you're doing a great job. And how does that land for you? If that does not land for you in a way that feels refreshing and fortifying, in a way that brings perhaps a little cooling to the rage, that turns it into a lovely steam bath for your soul, play with that a little. Play with giving your attention, your honor, your acknowledgement to that voice in your head, the other one if you can find it, or cultivate that voice in your head, or the voice of spirit if you have a sense that it's outside of you. Give your attention to that voice that's telling you how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are, how much you are loved, how much you're needed, how much you're valued, how unique you are, and how well you're doing. And with that, I wish you a love-filled day, a love-filled week, and a love-filled life.